proceed. I'm Bill Easton. I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Quality Education. This event is put together by AQE, Citizen Action of New York, the Campaign for Fiscal Equity, Education Voters of New York, the Fiscal Policy Institute, and we're here today to announce the cuts per classroom for every school district in the state. 64% of school districts in the state are facing cuts per classroom in excess of $15,000 per classroom. These cuts obviously will be devastating to school children all over the state, but even that figure doesn't really get to how severe the cuts are, because in many districts it's higher, and in fact we have 60 districts which are facing cuts over $30,000 per classroom.
And we're really standing here to say that we're going to keep the promise this year to make sure that we do not balance the budget on the backs of school children. It is unacceptable at a time when our economy is contracting, instead of investing in young people and investing in education so that when the economy snaps back, that we have a skilled and educated workforce to take the jobs that are going to be on the market, that we are now retracting our commitment to education. That is not going to happen under the watch of the members of the state. Classrooms are unacceptable. I will not vote for them, and I'm sure that my colleagues both in the Senate and the Assembly will stand fast to make sure that we keep the promise to all the young people of the state of New York.
Our fair share in the classroom is coupled with fair share tax reform, because only by asking those who earn over $250,000 a year can we protect our school children. It is absolutely unreasonable to say that we're asking school children to give $2.5 billion towards deficit reduction, and those who earn over $250,000 a year are not being asked to give a penny. The $2.5 billion figure, which is the actual cut, comes from the governor's executive budget summary. That is the money he's taking out of the classroom in terms of what they call the deficit reduction assessment, and the money that's supposed to be delivered for underfunded schools. If this money is not there, our school systems across the state are going to become layoff central. You're going to see our educational system go the way of Home Depot and Circuit City, with thousands of teachers laid off. That will mean devastation to the economy and devastation that cannot be recouped for school children. There is an alternative with fair share tax reform.
Government, we look at a large number and don't always understand how that gets reflected in the real lives of our taxpayers and our families in New York State. And so I think it certainly, I cannot come before you today and say that there will be, huge increases in education. I can't even say that there won't be cuts. We don't know yet. We're looking at very serious times. We have a very serious budget proposal from Governor Paterson. But I know that as we go through it and review it, we do not want to see cuts. We do not want to see these kinds of devastating cuts per child over $1,000 in the city of New York, where I represent. And certainly I and many other legislators are looking at tax reform, perhaps doing more something with the progressive income tax, and so that people can pay a little bit more and save these kinds of devastating cuts that affect children so directly.
If we're going to recover from the failures of Wall Street and prepare the United States and this state to be able to compete in a global economy, we must start in the classroom. And we must call on the legislature and the governor to keep their commitment so that every child receives the quality education in an excellent school in every district, in every neighborhood, in every classroom. Thank you.
The governor has selected one group of New Yorkers, those earning over $250,000 a year, who he has picked out as to protect from pain. We are adamant that school children need to be higher on the priority list of the state. And asking those earning over $250,000 a year to contribute a little bit more makes total sense. Let me translate what that means. Someone who's earning $300,000 a year, because in fact even at $250,000 you wouldn't pay the higher tax rate because there's deductions. Someone who's earning $300,000 a year, that's $6,000 a week, would be asked to contribute $71 more per week. they just go out to eat one less time per week, then our school kids could be protected from the most devastating of cuts. We know that in the state budget there will be cuts. There is no way not to have cuts in the overall state budget. But it would be, it's backwards to say, first, let's try to cut our way out of this and then address the structural revenue needs of the state if we get to it. We need to first address the revenue needs and then look at also combined with the federal stimulus, then look at how big the cuts or how small we can make the cuts be overall in every area.